Alright, I decided to stay up really late, drink my dead Nazi out of my either Finnish or Nazi glass. And no, I'm not pro-Nazi, but I inherited this. My grandpa collected all kinds of weird stuff. So, dead Nazi out of a Nazi glass. Alright, and it's pretty late, so I'm pretty tired, and I'm trying to upload videos at the same time, and it's not going so well. It's so slow. It is right now. I just completed December 1939, so it'll be January 1940, and the weather was poor. And what I found out was Poland didn't last very long. It lasted one turn, and I've practiced on Poland a few times, just in Poland events, and really it only, unless you really screw up as the Germans, they're not gonna make it through more than one turn. You'd have to roll really bad, and the Germans were rolling unreal. It's probably the best rolling I've seen. So they just knocked Poland right out, and then in successive turns they were able to move their entire army to the west. Now you might be thinking, well, why don't they leave some over there to deal with the Russians? Well, the Russians just can't really do anything, so they're not going to do that. So they're sitting here in the west, and they got massive amount of forces, but it is winter, so I've been mulling it over whether to attack or not. Meanwhile, a political success has activated the Italians on their side, which Italians have managed to, well, lose Tobruk to the British. It's like, great, they start off and they start losing right away, and then they move some forces to Benghazi. The British moved Force H to Malta to kind of mess with the Italians, which will be interesting now because I'll be doing some naval actions. And then the surprise of all was Yugoslavia is now a Axis, member of the Axis. Now that's something I was really pushing to do, just to do something historically different. They just were successfully activated through somebody else pulling a marker that activated them for the Germans. So after the Germans had a success, so the Axis will use these units. Not sure how, since they don't have a lot of supply. We'll be moving them slowly around. The Russians were able to seize Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania through seizure markers, and they got some more units and moved them up to the line, and they're probably going to get surrounded and blown away once the Germans come after them. So not a lot going on. It's pretty typical. Pretty weird thing happened here. You got Soviets. They have influence in Turkey. So that's kind of interesting in and of itself. Don't know what's going to happen there. But I'm guessing that the next few turns will be pretty blah of, waiting around for winter to get over. The Germans might attack, they might not. I mean, what happened in real life? There was the phony war, right? Well, I suspect something like that will probably happen again. It's not hurting the Germans at all. It might hurt them to attack a national line. It's significant. The French can't do. I think there's a policy that forbids the French from really attacking out of it, because the French military doctrine wouldn't allow it. But it doesn't give the French much options. The British have their forces there, and they move some fighters in. I suspect that the Germans will march through Belgium and Holland and just walk all over them sooner or later, and that'll be the end of it. The Italians will probably do nothing, and they were able to get their unit out of Albania and move it to North Africa somewhere. So that was somewhat significant, considering that they already lost a unit, and yeah, that's about it. I have found that I've been sitting here perusing rules, and I realize that, you know what, you don't really need a lot of rules. A lot of the time you just blast through some parts of the turn. I mean, the Soviets, they don't have much to do at this point, and so they can just spend their dough on diplomacy. They're one diplomacy action, and they've been really fortunate, and they have nothing else to do with it, so they lose it. If you don't use it, you lose it. One thing I was wrong on, and I put this in my little under tagline or whatever, is if you notice, here's the Polish corridor. When the Germans gain the Polish corridor, they do gain a factory, and when they attack Alsace-Lorraine, or once they seize that, they'll get a factory. So they'll get a little bit of production. The Russians are getting some production out of Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. So there is some production improvement, and there'll be probably a little bit more for the Russians once they seize a part of Romania. I'm assuming that'll come up soon. But the reality is, they're not. It's not a huge amount. It's, like I said, it's not the Borg. You don't have the Borg going on. So the one thing I looked at was strategic warfare, and I kept thinking, the Germans could send out their U-boats and start harassing the British. But really, what's the point? At this point, it's not going to affect them. The British had enough production where, even if you do whack the British production, I didn't think at this point in the game it would mean much. So they didn't bother. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm missing something. But I'm thinking that sooner or later I will start using it once I invade France. As the Germans, I will send the U-boats out and I will attack the British. And I think that's when the hurt will start coming. I'm finding that the British don't have much. They need, you're really in hurting unit. They have one new unit popping up in all of 1940. The French have only one new unit, and the Germans have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 chits. I'm not sure if they're all. Not all of them are units. Some of them are events. Like a surprise attack and whatnot. Ooh, don't spill my dead Nazi. It's gone now. Anyway, it's about, what time is it? 1:50 or 12:50. So I'm pretty tired. I'll probably be up for a little while longer. Is it fun? Yeah, I'm having fun. Pretty easy so far. Unless I'm doing stuff wrong. Here's my mess over here. I have managed to lose one piece. Anyway, this is it. See you in about 3-4 months in this game. Alright, session report number 1 done.